In this video we are going to talk about the working pressures of the refrigerant R290 and its main. For a temperature of minus 20 degrees Celsius in the evaporator, about minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Of freezing systems, the pressure of the evaporator or low with R290 refrigerant gas must be vary to 2.44 bar or 35.86 psi pressure of pressure gauge. For a temperature of minus 10 degrees Celsius, equivalent to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, about 3.45 bar. Pressure is needed in the evaporator, equivalent to 50.71 psi. When the temperature of the evaporator is close to 4 degrees Celsius, we are already talking about conditioning applications. About 39.2 degrees Fahrenheit, the pressure must be close to 5.35 bar, equivalent to 78.64 psi. When we want to know the high pressure of a refrigeration system, we need to know the ambient. That is added to an approximate of 10 degrees Celsius of difference. Therefore, for an environment of 30 degrees Celsius, we have a condensation temperature of 40. The pressure gauge will mark us close to 13.69 bar, equivalent to about 201 psi. When the compressor stops, it is off, both high and low pressures are leveled, and we will have only pressure that will depend exclusively on the environment. At the time of being off the equipment at 30 degrees Celsius, it will have a pressure close to bar, equivalent to 158 psi. These would be the most important work pressures. Here we are going to mention that the equipment that works with minus 20 degrees with minus 10 Celsius are equipment that are used for refrigeration and freezing. And by the way, they are small equipment at the level of cooling power. This is because the load of the R290 refrigerator has restrictions in terms of the amount, usually than 150 grams. So, the freezing applications are going to be for small equipment and also for air conditioning. Therefore, the air conditioners that we are going to find with the R290 are also going to be of power. Why? Because the R290, being a hydrocarbon gas, is a flammable gas with a classification A3. Therefore, the manufacturer must compensate for the flammability by reducing the amount of load the equipment carries. One of the main advantages of the R290 refrigerant gas is its global heating potential, whose value 3. This is important when you need to make investments in many equipment. So, the person who is going to make the purchase wants to buy equipment that has the guarantee that the years they will not have problems with environmental restrictions. Speaking of the properties of the R290 that we must know, we can say that one of its main is that it has a fairly low discharge temperature. This is very good for the compressor, the fact of having a low discharge temperature. Another analysis is that at the density level it has a fairly high density, that is, it is very. Therefore, it can be said that when we compare it with its cousin, the R600A, because it is also hydrocarbon gas, it can be said that it is 3 times heavier than the R600A. We are going to have a gas that does not need a compressor as large as the R600A. So, you should always pay attention when working with R290 equipment is that the equipment does have gas internally when it is going to use flame. Therefore, the most important thing is the discharge to the atmosphere that is always done with pressures, but always use or make a vacuum when the flame is going to be used. Always let the gas escape naturally, and always before using the flame make a vacuum to ensure that are no remains of R290 on the capillary tube in small equipment. Therefore, it is always good to cut the tube, the filter, and also the capillary tube, because it is area where the amount of R290 is usually concentrated. It is not necessary or recommended before, after making the vacuum, after cutting, turn on the so that any R290 that is there at some point is also expelled into the atmosphere. Without forgetting that the hydrocarbon gases, the R290 in this case, work with any type of oil. Mineral oil, alkyl benzene oil, oil with a higher viscosity than traditional gases. See you then in our next class of this course on refrigerants.
Refrigerantes.